pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, hopefully everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor?
Thanks.
Let's start off with PS1, resolution approving the execution of an intermunicipal agreement with the city of Oswego and the Oswego County Fire Safety Training Center. I'm going to get a motion for discussion. Motion, a second?
Second.
Motion, got a second? All right, Shane, tell us about it.
What that is, or what this agreement will be, if it's agreed upon, is it's been in place for years, from what I understand. It's been a kind of a handshake thing. Oswego Fire comes out and uses the facility in exchange for water that's provided by the city. So it's just a formal in-writing agreement.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. PS2, resolution authorizing budget modification E911 overtime. Can I get a motion? Herb, thank you.
Second.
Mel, thank you for a second. All right, any discussion? Go ahead, tell us about it real quick.
Pretty much a follow-up of the heads up I gave you last month that we're down 9 full-time telecommunicators since this time this has been put in. We had one more person put in their notice, so we'll be down to 10 full-time positions now. So we are eating up overtime to no end. Hopefully with the hiring process that we're working in, we're attempting to hire 8. It's a bit of a struggle, and it's going to be an extreme struggle training. We've never done more than 5.
Why are we having trouble hiring when you had a list of 90 people or something like that?
Finding qualified candidates is our struggle there. And we'll give you some more details offline.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why we had all these people take the test, why we're not unable to hire people.
So we're down, in order to get to certain levels, depending on how many people we're hiring and how many positions are available, working within the subservice laws, you can only see so many people. So we're looking for 8 currently, and we had 12 people that we can look at that were available. So, and with the industry standard considering about 2% of the people, population able to actually perform the job, taking that percentage back against the amount of people that we've interviewed is a little bit of a struggle. So we're working our way through the process.
About how many people have we interviewed? Just curious.
We interviewed 12 this round.
And how far down on the list have we got?
That takes us to the 85 range.
We went through 85 names to get the 12.
Well, 80, so 95, 90, score.
Oh, score of 85.
Yeah.
Okay.
Score of 85. They gave us access to 15 people, 3 of those being the provisional hires that we've already had.
All right, discuss this deeper. All right,
That one's easy.
any other discussion? So this is $100,000 that you're thinking that this is going to get you to the end of the year.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. PS3, resolution establishing E911 capital project number 1223-EMS radio replacement. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Herb.
Second.
Second, thank you. All right, Kevin, you're still up.
Okay, so this was a actual ARPA request that went in back in 2021. It did get denied, but we still have the gap. So this past budget round, it asked that it be included in the capital project plan. So requesting that be approved to move forward. So this would be, the project is to replace all of the EMS portable radios across the county, move them up to the latest platform. The platform that was originally purchased almost 12 years ago now, well, it was purchased 13 years ago, it's been in service for 12 years now. Those radios are no longer supported, they can't be repaired. We can get some screens and stuff if there's physical damage, but they're extremely limited on what we can do. So moving them up to the new platform that is supported, is able to be repaired, is able to be patched and upgraded. And then the radios that are currently in place, the ones that are viable and able to be reused, will be put into a cache and then made available to the fire service, which will then, fire service breaks a radio that can't be repaired, we'll hand them one of the better ones and work our way down through that. So unfortunately, since the ARPA request went in, there has been a significant increase in the price of the individual radios. So there is an increase from where the ARPA request was, but that's the project that we're into. And obviously go along with training all the end users and everything that will be done by my staff and myself.
Are EMS coordinators in favor of this? No?
How soon will you have them?
That's a good question because of time frames. We will probably get the radios right along, but the batteries and the chargers have a 6 to 9 month delivery time frame.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Mr. Castillo?
So what you're saying is we put in an ARPA request, but it's being denied. Definitely being denied, or is it still out there, or
No,
what?
it was denied.
It
Correct.
was denied. So, and the radios, how are you just gonna distribute them as needed, or is there specifics going to specific areas?
So we'll replace the radios that were originally issued to the EMS agencies on a one-for-one basis. So you give us your old portable, we'll give you the new portable and train you how to use it.
I just think it's terrible that there wasn't any ARPA funds.
Mr. Chair.
It's just
Can
not
I
right.
Sure.
clarify that?
Bill?
It wasn't a
You
denial.
recognize this, Bill?
It was not a denial. It was, the legislature has made it clear to me that as we use internal ARPA funds, that those are not to be used for things that we are routinely obligated to do. And the radios are something that we have always done for the municipalities. So in looking at that, it's more appropriate to take it out of fund balance and save the ARPA money for things that are that we don't normally do, that are an improvement or an efficiency or a better service. This improves our radio system, but it is something that we're going to have to do anyway because the county has provided radios to these agencies as a replacement existing. So it wasn't really a denial; it just was the wrong. It didn't fit the parameters.
Okay, but that's the original request. Now with the cost going up since, the original request, mainly probably because of COVID and what's going on. I think the additional cost could fall in it because it's not normal for the price to go up that high. I just think it's wrong. Okay, but that's my opinion, and I understand what you're saying. I understand what we decided. And that's how we're deciding. I just think it's wrong.
In the interim fund, the internal ARPA does not have to be tied to COVID. It's COVID.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. PS4, resolution authorizing the creation of one part-time position in 911 department. Making a motion. Thank you, Herb. Got a second? Thanks, Lori. All right, Kevin, tell us about it.
All right, so we have an employee, full-time employee that was planning on leaving, and the main reason for leaving was because of the swing from day to night shift. Said that did not work for her family, it didn't work for her health anymore, so she would be willing to work straight nights or straight days. We don't have a position for that, but going part-time, we could end up moving her to a position that would be able to allow for straight nights or straight days. So we would be able to find a way to make that work, so instead of losing a full person, we would lose half of the scheduled person. The other issue is that the loss of that person takes one of our shifts below minimum from 5 down to 4. We need to be staffed at 5 in order to provide the services that we regularly do. So requesting that I have 4 part-time positions currently. I'm requesting to go to 5, so that way this person can be transitioned over to a part-time position that can be regularly scheduled night shift. On that shift she came off of, so we would only be scheduled or short a half a person in theory, as opposed to being short a person. So it does, straight nights does make it a little bit easier because day shifts are a little bit easier to schedule and fill, but that all of those day shifts will have to be covered by overtime. So,
Have you thought about reaching out to any retired people to see if they want to come back part-time to fill the gap?
We have since
Temporarily?
since the last meeting that was brought up, we did reach out to some of them, as well as some of the ones that had left and gone to what they thought were green pastures back within the past couple of years. And currently, nobody's interested in full-time. There was possibly some interest in part-time, but that was after it went through this request, and I don't know if it's firm enough to request it.
Seems like part-time might be a solution for a lot of this until we can hire more people. There's
Possibly.
a lot of retirees don't want to work full-time, that's why they retire.
So if that looks like it's going to be more firm, I'll bring it back next month.
Okay. Also, I mentioned to you that the concern was by many of the legislatures that the pay grade wasn't listed on your request.
Okay.
So maybe when you submit those,
Yep.
make sure that paperwork is filled out properly. In the future, the pay scale is 2037. We got
2037.
$20.37 an hour. Okay, any further discussion on this?
I just have a question. I mean, we're saying that we're funded to stay at 7. We're down to 5. We're only at 5.
Correct.
So we're kind of dangerous.
We are. Every time somebody is on vacation, every time somebody takes sick time, that's why the overtime is ballooned as much as it has. So now with this one shift being at 4.5, every day shift will be overtime when that shift works.
And I know you've been asked many times, is there anything else that you can think of that, I mean, if they can't pass the test and if they can't get through the training, I understand that, okay?
I mean, we got to be past the test,
Right.
so we've got a list. Unfortunately, it's kind of backfiring because we know we have good people on the list that we can't get to. They didn't score high enough. So, I'm traveling to Albany tomorrow for a couple of meetings tomorrow night and Wednesday during the day. And civil services is one of the meetings that we're having while I'm out there. So hopefully we can try and see if we can continue that push. So.
Thank you. Good luck.
Would increasing the wage make any real difference?
I mean, we did that last year.
Right.
With reclassification. I mean, I think it might attract some people. I think the biggest thing that's fighting us at the moment is the nights and the weekends and the holidays, which we obviously can't go over.
Right, I'm just thinking, I mean, we're spending so much on overtime, it would be well worth us to just increase the hourly to keep the people.
The sad
Well,
thing
we
is
did
that
that.
we have all these good people, but you can't get to them because they're
Correct.
further down on the list.
Correct. So, I mean, I believe as the compensation study is worked through, we'll still find that our staff is significantly underpaid compared to relatively sized 911 centers in the community area. Because when the information I provided you all last year, and you supported 100%, that is, we increased, everybody else increased volume and then above and beyond in that same time frame. So, so I think that'll be some information, interesting information that will come back through on that.
I think we really need to keep track of the amount of money we're spending on overtime, if it could be better spent increasing wages.
Certainly. Well, that's what that compensation studies all about. All right, Mr. Castillo.
Is there any possible way we can, fight with the state to try to get more money back out of them? One of the things, I went over this, 5 years ago when I argued the point that they're collecting millions upon millions and they're giving us back pittance.
Yep. And we got to jump through hoops for it.
Are there other counties that, want to get in line and, say, hey, enough is enough, start giving back to us because we need it to help, alleviate the problems with putting it on our taxpayers to try to hire better people and get more money. It's just sad. They got to take so much from us.
So, in my position as Vice President of the State 911 Coordinators Association, I have been able to sit in on some meetings and be actively part of the discussion with the Commissioner of Homeland Security, who obviously is the department head for the governor, and there has been a lot of that discussion, and that's as much as I can tell you. There's been a lot of discussion. We've provided our feedback. We've provided the information, and with the budget the way the budget is, I don't see that changing too much. They did add some more to the funds that are coming back to the county this year in the Next Generation 911 addition. There's $20 million that has been added to the budget. However, we're working through the different working groups. Just before this, I had a Next Generation 911 working group meeting to talk about how that funding is going to break down and how it's going to be spent. Because in the grand scheme of things, talking about Next Generation 911, that's a whole different animal, where we go from copper 911 lines to the direct 911 lines that are coming into a computer router-based system, through the through internet and through GIS. And there's going to be significant cost that's going to come down the line on that. $20 million is a drop in the bucket for, maybe one or two counties. So we'll continue to fight, and continue to try and push for additional funds, try and make it, a little bit easier. The one area that they have softened up a little bit on is the grants that we're already getting, the allowable expenses. There has been some feedback that has been allowed now, so certain things that were not allowed to be put in for grants before in the next few grant rounds should be added now going forward, because a lot of us have built out our nice radio systems at this point. We don't need to continue to build towers or put generators out there. We need to move into PSAT furniture. I mean, our 911 furniture has been used almost 24/7 since 1996 and hasn't been replaced. So trying to get stuff like that covered, and they are listening to that and going to make changes. So they are listening. Whether or not the amount will increase, I couldn't say. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but they did throw another $20 million in there for a different thing. So they're viewing it that they're sending us more money, but
Let's start dropping the bucket of what they get from us.
agree. From, I think NISAC's last report, it was upwards of $300 million per year that they take in on the 911 surcharge, and we get back, now this year, I think we get back 95 million of it.
The state has always, this state has always used its counties as a piggy bank to get money. And we've seen that in the adoption of the state budget, where they're pulling back or intercepting federal money for us and Medicaid and other issues. The problem with things like 911 surcharge, which the state law says it shall come back to the counties, or the state law that says any payments, tuition payments we make to the Fashion Institute of New York, they passed laws saying that money will be paid back to the county. They passed a law saying that the surcharge will be paid back to the county. They also have a law on the books saying that they don't have to follow those laws. If they don't. And that's the law. That's the law that needs to be changed.
Well, until the counties start fighting back,
They've been fighting back.
Keep going, yeah, but you got to. I know it's not easy. It's easy for me to say. It's hard for the counties to say, well, you know what? This is where we're making a stand. At some point in time, we have to.
That's a bigger debate, for another conversation. Can we get back to the original resolution of approving a part-time employee at 911? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, PS5, resolution authorizing budget modification, emergency management office drone technology for the American Rescue Plan Fund. Do we have a motion? Thank you, Herb. Lori, thank you for the second. Jackie?
Perfect. So in March of 2022, we put in an internal ARPA request for some drone technology that we wanted to add to the county. Originally we put in for, I think it was close to 110,000. Since then we were able to prioritize what we would need the equipment and what we need it for. Of course, those priorities have changed a little bit, so we reduced it down to 97,000, and that we were able to purchase some additional equipment that we need within the county. What that would be designed, what that looks like is we currently have 2 sheriff deputies that are set up, ready to go. We have a third one that will be starting, so we need to equip him with the same type of technology that the other 2 have. So we would be purchasing with that, just to give you an idea, 2 more M30s. So that would be 3 sheriff's deputies with M30s, and then it would also give us a spare in case one needed to go up for repair or any type of maintenance. Then they would still have it. It also allows us to provide for 3 of what we call mini drones, which are indoor tactical drones. So they would all have, we do have two right now that are end of life, or one is dead, right?
Yes, one is
So it
not
replaces,
serviceable.
yeah, so it replaces those three as well. And then it allows us some leeway to buy some batteries, because they always need batteries, to also payload capacities and spotlights. Did I pretty much cover that, John?
Yes, perfect.
And I brought John along in case you have questions specifically about what they do, because I know that some of you have some questions along with that. So we appreciate this is a good project for internal funding, and so appreciate your support on that. Questions on that?
Any questions? Gregor?
How long is the life expectancy on these drones?
You know, John can answer that, but it's, go ahead.
As you know, technology changes so rapidly in the field, but I estimate anywhere 3 to 4 years that we can get expected out of these drones.
Are you going to have a program set up so replace one or two at a time, not all of them?
Yes, yeah. And we're doing that now. We have a plan in place that we're working off of. Some of this equipment that's out of date or not serviceable was purchased before I came on board.
So, John, just briefly describe the difference between the M30 and the purpose of having the mini drones. What's the function of that?
So the Matrice 30 is an all-weather drone. You can fly it rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain in our environment that we have. It's a drone that can be rapidly deployed. It's got thermal imaging capabilities, and it's easy for the deputies to put in their cars. And they've already got enough equipment they carry. It's a small enough case that they can. The mini drones, the Avadas, are for indoor tactical use. They can fly through narrow areas, under beds, in closets to clear a room. Schools, they can go into a school and clear a school without sending personnel in. So those are the uses of those.
How many do we have of each?
Currently, we have one of the M30s, and we have one M300, which is a larger platform, which has some different capabilities, such as a drop system. The spotlight on that's a much brighter, bigger spotlight, so it's got a few different capabilities. And as far as the Avadas, we have no Avadas at all. We have one mini drone that's in service, but we can't get any batteries for it.
It's only, what, 3?
Then we have
Total in the county, John, what do we got, Rob?
Total in the county, we have the Brink,
4 M30s, 2 300s.
Okay, Kevin's got a couple of them.
300s, yes. So that brings us to 7.
7 drones, all different types, but that's,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
That includes FPPD, does that include the city?
No, it does not.
Okay.
No.
Which would be available in an emergency if we had to call.
Yes, we collaborate with the city of Fulton and the city of Oswego as well.
I think a while back you told me we have about 20 drone operators in the county.
We do, yes.
Still accurate?
Yes, and we're bringing out another deputy.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if you, some of you weren't here in the beginning, I'll say this now since we're talking about drones. So John was able to bring in, I know we keep talking about this drone in a box, and something, an initiative that we're looking at, this Easy Aerial is going to be coming in to give us a demonstration of the drone in the box. And it's going to be August 29th, it's 11:30 at the Oswego Highway Garage. I'll just make sure everybody gets that information out so you can attend. Mark thought it would be good for the whole legislature to be invited. Definitely something we want to show you. We're going to get support on that piece. So but I'll try to get that out by the end of the week. We just had to change the time a couple times. A few conflicts here and there. But just wanted to let you know that. So I think that it would be good for you to see and see the technology that's coming, that's out there that we wanted to embrace and bring into the 9/11 Center.
Yeah, that's really the piece to take the next step for first responder.
We've heard so much about drone in the box, it'd be good to see it.
Yes.
That's a great concept. Hopefully it'll pan out the way we want it to.
Yes.
Especially plans.
Certainly an excellent tool for first responders to use. Any further discussion on the purchase of drones? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, motion carries. All right, PS6, authorizing an intermunicipal disaster assistance agreement by and between the County of Oswego and the County of Onondaga. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Herb. Thank you, Lori, for the second. Kathy, go ahead.
Sure. So this is an agreement that Oswego County has had with Onondaga County for probably almost 20 years. The funding is the same source, which comes out of our very logical funds. It's for our disaster management agreements that we have. We support our Onondaga host plan for the reception center. So this is just a renewal of that 5-year agreement. It needs to be signed from us, and then it'll go to Onondaga County, and they'll actually have it done before their legislature as well. So,
Is this the agreement that goes to the state fair?
no, that's a separate
It's
agreement.
a separate one, I didn't know if that
Yep.
was included.
No, we just got that one renewed, and that was a little fair to get renewed this year, because some people have changed over the years, so, there's no funding assigned to that particular one, but the fair has since, is looking for some funding, because they do want to make some modifications to the youth building, so, they are looking to see if Constellation is interested in supporting some of those modifications, so we'll see what happens with that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's move on to department reporting. We got EMS up first, Nate, so.
Alright, good morning everybody. So in our education side of things, the Metro Spring Academy finished up. 3 of their 6 students passed and are waiting to take their state written exam. In the Fall Academy, we're going to bump up their number of students to 8 with the hope that they can finish with 5 or 6. We're seeing a lot of students drop out in the last 3 weeks because of mental health reasons. So I think that's going to start to become a common theme to every UT class. So they're going to try to bump their levels up to the next one so they can still finish with the amount they desire. And they're working on we're working with them on submitting paper for our Fall Academy to the state right now. Another end of that, we are working with Shane in his office on putting together a certified first responder class. This will be primarily for the volunteer fire departments, so they can get some certifications. I anticipate that to start in September and wrap up November, December, depending on what schedule we go with. Still continuing to work with the EMS agencies on county coordination with MSAC, CQI. Was able to participate in an MCI training at North Shore Ambulance. They invited me up for that. That was very well put together. And Jefferson County and Fort Drum invited me up to participate as an evaluator for Fort Drum's full-scale MCI exercise, and that was really interesting to experience and be a part of. They have a pretty good program up there, and there's some things we might be able to implement here as well. So, coordinated with SAVEC on the HarborFest EMS events. I think that went off pretty well, and just continue to participate in a handful of different committees.
Excellent. Any questions for Nate? All right, Kathy, you're next.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
So first, in front of this committee, I just wanted to say how proud I am to work with some of the departments that are here today. You're all aware of the July 10th flash flood that we had, and some of the departments, law, fire, EMS, 911, all came together and represented the county and took care of our community. And it's just something that needs to be brought up to know that, I'm going to say there's probably a lot more, but these two in particular probably spent a 9-hour day, because it was a short event of 8 hours, but a lot happened in that 8 hours, and they can probably articulate it better of having just specific, nothing but flooded basements in Mexico. It just seemed like, and they responded to them. They were able to do that in a manner that still let us the ability to handle the other things that are happening in the county. To the law enforcement that were out on the road, telling us what roads were closed or what roads had a lot of water in them, to the additional fire agencies that came out and helped supported out of their district. So kudos to them. I just wanted to say that in front of you. So I had gotten a report from National Weather Service that talked about the water that we got, and from anywhere from Palermo, which was 4.54 inches, to Mexico was 3.54. Down to, areas like Minetto is 0.77, so there's just a huge variance of where that rain hit that day and how everyone stepped up and really did a great job. So as our office is just there to support, but, we were appreciative that we have them out there. So that's all I wanted to say on that. But they can probably add more to it for what they did. But we had a kickoff meeting for our hazard mitigation plan with the mayors in the municipalities. That went off very well. There's a lot of new mayors, old mayors, people have been through it before, but we've got a few consultant that's gonna help us through that. It's actually the same consultant we had with last two CAD implementation plans, so that's gonna take us through, I think, 2025 before we finish that. As you know, HarborFest just ended with that. John and Kevin could give you some indication of drone support that we did for that piece. There was a lot of good feedback that came back from a program that we tempered out, right?
Yes, it was a great event. It gave us a great opportunity to do some demonstrations with drone detection programs, which is, as we move forward with the DFR program, will be something we need to incorporate. This gave us an opportunity to test these two vendors for their drone detection capabilities.
We actually did have a semi-near miss with one of the city drones and a private drone that we had flown down by the docks. And with that software, we were actually able to locate the actual controller, and we sent OPD officers over to actually have a discussion with that person of, hey, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You know, we actually had a medical emergency that we were utilizing the drone footage for at that point in time, and they decided they were going to try to fly in our same airspace. So they actually worked pretty well.
It worked good.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, with the increase of our drones, the public has got a lot more drones, so there has to be something like, we're not FAA, trying to.
So we have to comply. Yeah, the FAA pretty much sets the rules for us as we move forward through the drone as first responder program, and part of that program is drone detection capabilities.
So you got your own tower.
It becomes endless what you can do with this technology, and it would be far outreach some other agencies, and we've been asked by other counties to assist with that. So,
Well, no, they got flying cars, so.
So with that, just plugging along, Super Derby planning meetings are ongoing too. Just provide a lot of support for that too. We did participate, and this doesn't happen very often, is we were able to participate in the New York State Suggestion Pathway Exercise, which is your 50-mile radius, and you don't have to play as much, but a lot more state agencies are involved in that piece.
You said that really fast.
Sorry. So an ingestion pathway exercise, that's more state-driven because that's the 50-mile radius. So 50 miles around the nuclear power plants. We, as a county, are only required for the 10-mile radius, and then the state is the 50-mile radius. So that's when we're testing vegetation and soil and water supplies, food sources. So the state's tested. So we actually got to view their side of what they do on that piece. So that doesn't happen very often that they're required to have that type of exercise. So we were able to participate in that.
Is this a regular thing that they check for contamination? Is this a regular annual testing? I mean, have they checked the soil?
This
Have
was
they checked
just an exercise.
just an exercise in case there was a leak?
But the power plant has detection equipment out into the area that they regularly go on a quarterly basis and check those readings of this. It's just like little tag. It's a decimeter of legal record, so it's a TLD, so it can measure areas and provide feedback back if there's anything in the area that they don't believe that they're releasing. So it never has done anything like that. But no, they don't test it regularly. I'm actually going to attend Guinea's having their off-year exercise tomorrow, so I'm going to go down there and see their county's response to an incident. So it's always good to see I learn some new stuff and they bring stuff to them. So other than that, Fulton Police Department, Fire Department now has a drone in service and operational. John was conducting a training day with Phoenix, Granby, and Cody Fire Departments. Did that already happen?
We did that, yes. Went very well.
And some of the other events is, of course, they participated, the drones participated in Paddle Fest, the Fulton Power Boat Races, and Harbor Fest. And of course, they will provide some type of drone detail for Super Derby too. So water levels are going down, and that's about all I got for you. Any questions?
I would like to say that kudos to this drone program that was put together. I mean, this has really had a big impact on the county, villages, and towns, and obviously first responders.
And beyond, actually, because we were actually activated yesterday to go to Jefferson, Thursday night and yesterday to go to Jefferson County to support a solar farm fire that was up there. They don't have any drones up there. So Novellis went out Thursday night and spent, I don't know how many hours.
Around 1 a.m. from about 5 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Yeah, and then yesterday I went up from 10 o'clock until 5 to provide support because it's an extremely dangerous situation. They have containers with lithium-ion batteries and stuff, so it's not just a local thing, it's actually expanding being pulled to other areas now, which is helpful, but it's starting to talk in their counties that they have a program like this, which is good.
I have a question on that, you know the answer, but so far the companies are saying how safe they are, and they have all these monitors to keep them from catching on fire. So they can't be trusted. Is that why the fire starts? What you're saying? You know?
You get the alarm, it's burning.
Yeah, right.
So if they, they spent, that fire started
been there since
Thursday,
1 p.m.
1 o'clock. And they've been in and off the site. I think that night they wanted, I don't know what time Jefferson County needs to put it there, but it's been since Thursday they've been dealing with this issue.
Because there's talk about putting one of these in the town of Oswego.
We already have these in our county.
We do.
So,
So it's worth making sure that the emergency plans and the response plans are reviewed by local fire.
we have the equipment to assist and help mitigate.
Kudos to you guys. Good job. All right. If there's nothing else for Kathy, let's move on to Dave. Probation.
Thanks. Our supervision numbers are staying pretty consistent. Investigations actually went down in July, which is good. We're over 100 for June. So as of this morning, it's 70 for July. So it's good that it's gone down a little bit before we continuing our programming in the jail. We're running 2 programs in the jail. We're also running a program in-house, and we'll be starting another one in-house probably within a couple of weeks for juveniles. Restitution collection was up in June a little bit, which is good. We've got 2 additional officers that will be completing their special services training, so we'll be up to 11 officers for that. So that'll be helpful too, because right now they have to rotate. And sometimes it's a lot for them in addition to their duties to go out and do warrants and stuff, so it'd be nice to be up to 11. I submitted our SSJP plan, which brings in a lot of juvenile funding to the county, roughly a couple $100,000 this year, which should bring in for us. They took my plan, I had a couple little tweaks, which is not bad. Typically they go over with a fine-tooth comb and it requires a lot of modification. So that's will be good with that stuff. We had discussed here before about me getting ballistic vests for our non-hearing officers, and we've got somebody coming in to measure and fit everybody in our office who wants the vest. So, and we found the money in one of our budget lines, I think, to be able to afford it with what we've got, so which is really good. So I'm glad about that. We're working out a grant actually, so hopefully next year's round of any vests we have to replace, we should get hopefully at least 50% funding back on that. I know Kathy, you also have a Homeland Security thing, but so they're looking at that too. As far as stop DUI, our senior PO who's going out and doing some outreach, she's done a couple driver ed classes recently, one in Alaska, I think, and one in Oswego. It went pretty well. This coming Saturday, a few of us are going to be at the park in Schuylkill. They're doing a family fun day. Kind of guests come and bring our pedal carts for kids and all that kind of thing. So that'll be good. And then there's also the state is doing an event at Fulton Speedway in September, and they've asked us to join for that. So we're probably going to have a couple people there.
Any questions for probation? There we go. All right, Shane, you're up.
Good morning. So for you, monthly activity report for the January 1st to June 30th. The office has handled 175 activations, of which 59 structure fires, 12 hazmat, team responses, 26 fire investigations, 2 dive, 2 rope, 54 no response reported, 20 other. The next thing is a list of classes we've got through the end of this year and starting to schedule already for next year. With the mention of the blended learning VFO class, some of the feedback through recruitment retention, the younger generation that doesn't want to sit in a classroom, they want to sit at home on their computer and do it. So that's what that blended learning is. They'll do stuff, they'll have homework assignments, they'll do stuff from home, and then on skill days, they'll come to the facility and do it. So that's something that we tried years and years ago that we didn't do so well. Our county didn't have great participation, but now it's started to switch, so we're gonna run that in the spring of 24 and see how that turns out. Classes at the ERTC, the numbers until June, we taught 136 classes, of which we put 885 students through, and with 729 hours of instruction. Again, to go back to recruiter retention, the Fire Explorer Weekend that we sponsored July 8th, we had 14 participants. It was very well received, good feedback, of which Kevin in his other hat wearing role as a chief of Hastings had a couple members come, and again, just good feedback, and we're hoping that expands for next year. So that's all I have. Unless there's questions. Any questions?
Shane, do you think maybe now with everybody becoming so more attuned and feel comfortable with the virtual, that you should have a much better success rate with that?
I think with that one, not everything can be virtual.
Right, but at
but
least,
this is like the entry level to become a firefighter. So a lot of it is book work, a lot of it is hand or reading, understanding, comprehending what you're getting. So we're hoping. Again, we're going to run it again. We decided that we understand it didn't work years and years ago, but now things have changed, and we want to give it another shot. So some of the discussion amongst the departments, everybody wants it in their own backyard. You know what I mean? So, that's too far to travel here, too far to travel there. So this is also another way to prevent that argument. We're trying to accommodate those departments, that are 20, 30, 40 miles from the training
everybody
center.
wants to work at home now.
Yep.
It's the thing. So, good luck.
Traveling's a big issue.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
George
time.
neck of the woods.
Yeah.
It's an hour ride to come down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just we'll give it a shot. We're hoping it's got good.
Both ways.
Yeah.
But in line with that, I just want to report to you guys that earlier today, government courts, the local law passed through committee for the fire and EMS tax break. And I have every reason to believe that that'll pass next week at the county.
Thank you.
Okay, Kevin, you're up.
June was actually a little bit of a downtick for us, which was a good thing. Gave the dispatch staff a little bit of a breather, not a huge amount of breather, but a little bit from where it typically is, which was surprising, but a welcome change for what they've had going on there. As far as our activity recently, consortium been very, very busy. Technical meeting, are working with Onondaga. Onondaga, I mentioned I think a couple times now that Onondaga received a consortium-wide $2.5 million grant to purchase and install a DSR, a redundant board for the radio system, and that's going in Oswego County and Hastings Tower site. So there's going to be a lot of work that Oswego and Onondaga will be doing together to work through that project and move forward. Also part of the group that's working on a governance project for the consortium as well, New York State and FEMA that's funding that. So that'll be a huge help for our local consortium. Radio system wise, microwave system upgrade has been completed. Went on a little bit longer than we had planned. We had a couple struggles, but we did get through that with the vendors. We supported Paddle Fest with communication support and provided cash radios. Also attended a couple Super Dirt Week virtual meetings in preparation for the technical support that we provide during that, tactical patches and communication support during that event. Tactical support, as Kathy mentioned, spent a pretty decent amount of time out in Mexico doing tactical dispatch on site during the emergency response. Working with Shane very closely on that. So that was after that, and then this past weekend, working tactical dispatch for HarborFest. I'll put together an info memo to better explain what tactical dispatch is, but it's essentially taking the 911 function out of the 911 center and putting it at a closer location in an EOC or in a joint center. So pretty much Shane and I stood up a small EOC at the Mexico's fire station during that period of time because we had over 50 calls within a 5-hour period. And for any section of Oswego County, to receive 50 alarms is a lot. So we track all that, coordinate with the National Grid, which is something that 911 typically takes care of. And we took care of that on site, face-to-face, as opposed to over the phone and fax machines, which are typically done during the center. It was a lot more effective than having dispatch staff at the 911 center handle that. So, and then you mentioned Harbor Fest, which I'll provide additional information, but we spent time Friday night and Saturday night providing pre-planned tactical dispatch with CAD radio support for the Harbor Fest event. So we've done a lot of tactical work, and honestly, very, very little with drone stuff, but we would closely interface with them because the information they provided came back through the EOC as we go to provide back out to the responders and stuff. So, or the not responders, but the units that were out at the pre-planned incidents. So. The other big thing this past month, has been working on staffing. We did have a backup supervisor, I think that I had mentioned last month, that was resigning, so had to do the interviews for that position and do a promotion there, which created an additional full-time position vacancy. And then we're working to hire 8 telecommunicators, as we discussed earlier. So those are the big items from this past month.
Any questions for Kevin? None. I don't see anybody here from Search and Rescue. John, you got anything for us?
Well, a couple things. First, we start out. So good news, Lieutenant down at Corrections. Our population is a little bit down. We've got 128 total. So our females have been housed out. We still are about 14 or 15. So we have 10 out, so we're about 22 females. I'm sorry. But the good part of that is we emptied our max cell out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They did some electrical work that had to be done. Long story short, 3 females are coming back from Delaware County today, and 7 from Yates and Ontario tomorrow. So we'll have all females back in our facility, at least until our population goes back up. So we're saving the money of paying housing them out. So we took a lot of initiative to change our max cell over. We had to make some changes for things that the corrections commission makes us have. One is a TV, getting an electrical put in for a TV when they're not in the south. That's required. But those things were done in the last week or two, and bring the females back today.
What's our max?
159.
What's the status of the Sea-Doo? Did we get it? Did we
We
use
got
it?
2 Sea-Doos that we used for Harbor Fest. We're still waiting to get lights and get it properly equipped, but we did make them available for Harbor Fest. They're on my list here to mention that we got both of those. Kate will be applying for the Marine grant, so we get half the money back. Buy one, get one. Our body scanner is in and hooked up and scheduled for training. That was another grant that we got 100,000, so we paid 62 for it. Training is this month, and we'll start using it as soon as we get training. I'm thinking after we're trained up, we may throw it out to legislators. Assemblyman Barkley said he'd like to come see it. He's going to help us get the grant. So after we get hooked up, we'll probably throw an invite out for anybody that wants to come down and take a look at it before it's get it operational. Our virtual machine is also in, and waiting for the crew to come from Arizona. I believe that sets all that up and hooks it up down in the corrections training room for now until we decide if it's going to be a permanent home or it's going to move when we get in the camp. The academy, our academy's in good shape. We're halfway through. We're out of the classroom now and doing, I believe, firearms, EVOC, some of the office, outside the office stuff. So moving along, I think most of the students are doing very well. So hoping not to lose anybody in that class.
How many do we have in that class? Count.
6 or 7. We had 7.
And how many total in the academy?
16. think we did about all. I got.
Mr. Castillo.
How many we need?
We only have one opening. We could use 20 more.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, to be, you know,
To be at full staff,
right.
budget staff, we only have one empty position. We were not able to hire. I believe we had 8 openings. We hired 7 and 8. Yeah. So we're hoping to try to find a ladder or somebody to fill that one spot. Where staff it is.
Another test.
Our jail is another story. We're down to 12 in corrections.
12 in corrections.
Down to 12 officers in corrections. We're
That's not
hoping-
good.
No, that's not good. Their overtime is higher than we want it to be, but we're hoping that the next test result should be out soon and we can get some hired.
Any other questions for John? Thank you. Hearing none. Any old new business, anything? Look for the appropriate motion. Thank you. So,